Welcome back to Georgia Virtual. In this video tutorial, we're going to be talking about the role of web graphics module. So to get started, make sure whenever you log into Canvas, you select the Home tab and then select the name of the module that you are trying to review. You're going to then see an overview and a lessons page. The overview page lets you know what you're going to be learning within the module for this unit. So make sure you read it carefully. And then you're going to see your lessons pages. This is going to be the content that you want to read so that you can learn the material, so that you're able to complete your assignments and your discussions and your projects. Let's take a look at the essential questions and the key terms for this module. Make sure that you know the definition of web graphics, design elements, design principles, digital design, and print design. It's also a good idea to make sure you're able to use these terms in a sentence. By the end of the module, make sure that you're able to answer each one of these essential questions to ensure that you've learned the content that you should be learning. Now let's take a look at our first assignment in this module. This is going to be the Web Safe Colors assignment. So the directions tell us that when we design a website, we need a color scheme. It also tells us what a color scheme is. For this assignment, you're going to research more web-safe color values. As you are learning the colors, take a look and see which ones complement each other on a web page to form the perfect color scheme. Now, make sure you include these requirements in your assignment, okay? You're going to be turning in a Word document. Now, the Word document is going to have the HTML code that you have generated in your text editor program. You're going to copy and paste that code into a Word document and turn in the document. Then you're also going to turn in your link to the website that you have created. So make sure you save that as an HTML file and turn that into the Dropbox. So these are the two submissions that I'm going to need. Now make sure you read each one of these steps carefully. There are 4 steps. This one tells you to include 4 websites that provides a color chart or list for the 3 color profiles. So that's going to be hex, RGB, and then color names. Also, look at step 2. It tells you to open a new shell in your text editor program. It tells you what to name the shell, and it's going to tell you exactly what to type within your shell. Now when you're finished, you should get something that looks like this with the title and then with the sentence that it tells you to type here. So don't skip that part. You're going to make sure that you create a round table. So it's going to look something similar to this, and you're going to list your colors here in alphabetical order. So it gives you a chart, a color assignment tables chart. You want to take these colors, list them in alphabetical order, and then list the hex value and the RGB value. All right, it tells you in step 4, again, to copy your code in a Word document and to just make sure you turn in both items. So please read these instructions carefully. I just gave you a kind of a general overview. And then I gave you an example of what your site is going to look like when you're done. The next assignment is called Grand Opening. So for this one, you're going to be writing a grand opening letter for your fitness studio webpage. In the letter, you have to address opening day of your business and what is expected to happen on this opening day. Make sure that you write with excitement. Make sure that you include details about the grand opening, like what's the date, what's the time. And then, of course, you're going to have to apply some HTML elements to your letter. And we're going to look at what you're going to apply here in just a second. But make sure you turn in a Word document again, copy and paste the code from your notepad, and save that Word document and turn it in along with your HTML file web page that you've created. So what are you going to include? It tells you to add a header with some other features here, so make sure you read. You also have to write 2 paragraphs with details about your grand opening. Here's an example, by the way, down here at the bottom. Okay, and then it tells you to write 3 other sentences. So make sure you include these 3 sentences here in bold print, and you can kind of see those down here on the example. Add a background color to the entire page using RGB color. So make sure you do that. Add a color name color to the entire text. So make sure the text has a color. It also tells you what to name your notepad shell. So again, make sure you read these carefully, review everything, and then turn in the requirements for this assignment. Next, we have the first impression discussion. And for this discussion, I want you to research 2 fitness businesses' websites. And you're going to discuss your first impression after seeing just the homepage of these 2 websites. Here are some key points that you might want to talk about in your discussion. You don't have to talk about all of these, but you do want to make sure you write enough to have 8 sentences, and you want to include the links to the 2 websites that you are reviewing. So some of the questions that you might want to answer when you're writing your 8 sentences are going to be: what colors are used on the opening page? Talk about those colors on those 2 web pages. How effective is the page in keeping your attention? Does it keep your attention? Are you able to see who their target audience is? Answer those questions. Again, a minimum of 8 sentences. Of course, you want to make sure that you respond to 2 other classmates as always. Next up, we have creating my first web page. For this assignment, you're going to be creating your first complete web page. So that means you have to apply some design elements and principles that you've learned throughout the module. So I want you to go back and I want you to work on the grand opening assignment that you've done previously, and you're going to edit that. Now, before we talk about what to include, again, make sure that you submit your Word document that has your code in it, and it's going to also have the business logo that we're going to talk about in just a second. Also include the link to your web page, the HTML file that you created as well. So again, I want to make this clear. On your Word document, I need to see the code and your logo that you've created. So here are the requirements. You have to create a business logo for your fitness studio. You can use any Web 2.0 tool to do this. My recommendation, of course, is Canva, but you can do whatever you want. Just save it as a JPEG or a PNG. And then, of course, you want to open up that text editor program and open up your grand opening shell that you've used previously. This time, you're going to rename this shell to firstwebsite.html. And you have to apply these other features here, such as changing the background color, writing a couple of statements, applying your business logo, and of course it gives you the code here, and then playing around with the size of that logo. So just ensure that everything here is included in your first web page, and then of course you want to submit those requirements. Please set aside 35 minutes of uninterrupted time so that you can take your quiz, which is going to be 10 multiple choice questions. Make sure you review over your content before you take the quiz. So that means review over all your pages that you read, review over your discussions and your assignments, and also your key terms. You definitely may see those again. Here is an example of a rubric. Please stop and pay attention to all of the rubrics that are located within the modules so that you are sure to receive full credit and all of your points based on the criteria that you see listed on the rubric. And last but not least, don't forget to download that course checklist. You can locate that checklist in the quick links within Canvas. Select class resources and then click the link for your course checklist. This is going to allow you to list your due dates when you completed each assignment. And then, of course, the assignments are listed in the middle column. Any assignments that you don't have to complete, those will be listed in the far right column. I hope this information helped you. And if you have any other questions about the module, the role of web graphics, make sure you reach out to me and I will be sure to answer your questions accordingly. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.